Well, I don't know what to expect today. I've got an induction day, like a trial test training day at what could be my new work. Not sure yet. They have a big car parking lot outside, and normally for public going in to do their shopping, it's 3 hours free. And I said, I've got a 4-hour shift there. How can I park there? Because they will fine me, try and kick me out of the car parking, clamp me or whatever, if I go over that 3rd hour into a 4th. And they're like, no, we've got a system where if you're working for us and we know your number plate, if they try and fine you, we can just broadcast that to the car parking lot owners, your registration number, and then they'll know that as staff and they'll unfine you or not fine you. So hopefully they'll be able to do that for me. Hour-ish drive to get there. Big spacious place. Retail. Seemed friendly upon entry, but you never know. Never know what people are like, and I only talked to one person, to be honest. I guess when I was applying I talked to 2 other ones briefly, and then when I interviewed I talked to one guy and he was nice. I don't know what to expect, man. I don't know what the business is about. I just know I know what a customer knows about the business. I don't know what a staff member knows. But I like the idea that it's a big and spacious store. Can't work out how many people work there at one time. It looked like maybe 5 to 6 people. That's a lot of recipe for disaster as well, because you're not just working on a shift with one other person, you're working on a shift with like 5 other people. So if something goes wrong with a bunch of them, then you have to deal with a bunch of them until your shift's over. That's a lot of people to keep on side, but at the same time, if you're having trouble with like 3 of them and you're on good terms with 2 other ones, then you can hang out with the 2 other ones. I guess. I don't know, it's weird working with that many people, and it becomes a team thing, and then that feeds into collectivism, and then you get there must be overseeing and stuff. I don't know, it's weird, but at the same time you can get respite from people because the shop's so large. I'm obviously in one section of the shop, and while I'm doing that job I might not see another person, because all the others I assume are all 4 corners of this very large shop, like not really bothering each other for a while. So that'll give you some space and time to think on a stressful day, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. We're gonna see what happens. I hope I can do the job, else it's straight back into job hunting. Ooh, hot girl. Hot girl with the blonde hair and the flip-flops and the coat. Doesn't mean anything. Hot shells, sadly, doesn't mean anything. I was saying it was too fast-paced in my previous workplace to the new interviewer guy, so I liked it to slow down a bit so I'd be able to talk to people, and I think he scoffed a bit at that and went like, oh, we don't really have time to talk to people or talk to customers here either. So I guess that's going to be the same sort of thing as the workplace, and so is the fact that I'll be doing night shifts, getting back later and driving back from further away. The thing I mainly need to do is get used to the really busy fucking city streets that are just at the very last part of my journey. Just this tiny stretch at the last part of my journey to get to work in this place, if I was working at this place, is busy city roads with a bunch of bullshit road markings, and it immediately gets busy as soon as you enter that bit. And I've been confused by a couple of road markings, almost at one point confusing a oncoming traffic road with the central reservation road, and then later on when you're going out away from work, the road markings are all worn off when there's like 3 lanes. One's are turning left and 2 are like heading forward, and I must have gone over the line to either side in the center lane, because there's no road markings, they're all completely worn off at this one section. There are lots of traffic lights, lots of signs, lots of busyness, and because it's a city I need to start looking out for motorcyclists in my mirrors, which I'm just not used to. I've only driven in Plymouth a handful of times so far, but at some point I'm gonna change lane where there's a motorcyclist in one of my wing mirrors, I think. Also, it's a very rainy day, and apparently my front tyres are both worn down to almost the legal limit, and so they're going to change, mechanics are going to change my front tyres on Thursday. so I'll have to hope that my grip is good enough to last me for 6 trips of the dual carriageway before my tyres get changed, which is a wad of money again. And then I've only got, after that, 2 more things to fix about my car, but they're a wad of money that I can put off for a bit. Anyway, that's today. So I came out here because I heard now that sunset happens at 6:20, like 6:18 or something. Where are we now? 17th of October. Sunset happens at 6:18, and no sunset. It's just very dark and cloudy over there. There was a tiny bit of pink in the air, but now not so much. And I got into my head, like, I've been indoors all day doing editing, so I should get out. And also my car was down at the far end of the village. I wanted the near side of the village, so I just thought I'd drive up here and see sunset and then reposition it. Look how dark and stormy the clouds are just after sunset. It's weird. It's kind of warm out there, but also drizzly. Or it was drizzling. It's not now. It's spooky. It's spooky now. It's well spooky. I suppose we are approaching Halloween, right? I'm thinking in my head, like, would I want to go and drive and get some fast food, which means paying a lot of money for a hot chicken meal, and then go to Rockhampton and then see if Andrew and that want to go to the pub, but they probably don't. Doing like a night stalker kind of event. Because I don't know what my new routine's going to be like. I think I'm going to be on kind of night shifts. It looked like the preliminaries for, not my rota, because they don't seem to go on rotas, but my shifts pattern was like, I am going to be out at night quite a lot. I'll be coming back home much later, in fact, than usual. And sometimes staying overnight, I guess. Driving back in the dead hours. There's going to be a lot of that. Not much in the way of daytime shifts. I suppose it will be bright going in summertime, but certainly not the ends. That's going to be interesting. So I am going to be still a night owl at my work. I like nocturnal work. Nocturnal work works for me. What doesn't really work for me is the crazy rota system we had. It was all over the place. Every week there's like a new pattern of days you had to work and when you had to come in. Like, there was never solidified. Whereas when I was doing 9 to 5, it was just 9 to 5. You knew what days you were coming in, you knew you were getting in for 9 o'clock to open at 9:30 and then close at 5 and then go home. And you had to work with the buses back then, didn't have a car. I guess this new one, if it gets going, I still don't know what it's going to be like. It might be atrocious. I might end up leaving the job in like a week, which would be awful because of psycho staff members or incompatibility personality wise with a job and shit like that. I really hope it's something I can stick with for at least a year, if not more. 2 years be good. But yeah, I like it's slightly more fixed work days. It's nearer to a 9 to 5 than it is to rota work, and it has night shifts. I don't know, man. Should I be a night stalker? I want to call it a night stalker. What do you call it? A night owl? Night traveller? And go to Rockhampton. Oh, it's so weird out here. Okay, I've just finished the first, I guess, real shift in the. So the guy I met at interview was called Vietnam. Didn't see him today. The woman I went through induction with was Vietnam. She was nice. Saw her for a couple of seconds today. Today I was working with. There's like a floor manager guy called Vietnam, who seemed a bit annoyed at what was going on, sort of thing. A bit aggro, middle-aged man with glasses. And there's a guy called Vietnam, who I can't get a read on him really. Long-haired guy, learner, drives a motorcycle, has tattoos on his face, including like the Islam flag. But he's like a white guy. I can't really get a read on him. Also, he's got tattoos like above each eyebrow on his face. It's so weird. Yeah, I haven't really had a proper talk to him, so I don't know what he's about. Then there's a tall Indian guy called Vietnam. He's the one who talked the most. He seemed nice for a while, He's like learning English and very apologetic for learning English. He's here as a student. He's doing a master's in retail supply chains or something. Rides a bicycle. He was helpful, kind of reserved and introvert. The main problem with him, suddenly at like 10 p.m. at night, the lights dim and he goes, oh, we're allowed to put music on now. Like there's already like tannoy music playing in the shop, which is not at high volume, which is good, but it's annoying crap. And sometimes there's a announcement. But then this guy goes, oh, we're allowed to play music, and he just puts on speakers and plays like loud, I don't know what, just random normie fucking rap music, drum and bass, garage and bad pop, really loud, out of some portable speakers he's brought from the office with him. Like, I had to tell him to turn it down at one point, which to his credit he did, but you know, it was still annoying, it was still on, and it was still fairly loud and clashing. I was like, oh man, will I have to leave this job just because a nice guy is playing obnoxiously loud music from loudspeakers in the evenings? Because I just couldn't hear myself think, and I couldn't concentrate on, I was trying to work out where products go and what to do with them, and I just couldn't fucking think. I thought it was going to be a case of we'd all work in different areas of this massive shop to get things done, but like we were the food team, and for some reason all 4 of us were crammed into the same area, working that area together, like all in the same place as each other. This is inefficient as fuck, like a terrible way of doing things. Like, you know, one person should work one area with one particular type of products and get them there, and then all the others should be on other aisles with other types of products that fit the aisle, so they don't have to move around and they can get an entire aisle done between them. But that's not what was going on. It's just like, what the fuck? What is going on here? The music thing was so... I was getting angry a little bit because I was just like, this is the first day. How am I going to work like 365 days a year if every night he's blasting this crappy music? It almost makes me happy that there's only one set of music when the shop is open that I have to fucking listen to and deal with, rather than 2 sets of clashing awful music at the end of the night. And especially if I choose to do night shifts and I'm on with him, he's just going to be like fucking doing that for ages. I don't know if this is the guy who does the night shifts or not. I'll have to ask again, because you get later night shifts that go, oh, the guy said the night shift that you could do optionally is from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So what's that, 12-hour shift, and you get extra pay for it, which would be fine, except if it's with he's gonna fucking put the music on all night long. It's gonna be like, what the fuck? So I don't like that. Not so good. I've got to drive back home again. The hard bit is city driving bit. This is the super dangerous bit, and I gotta remind myself to look out for motorcycles and shit, and pedestrians and crazy people. When just took off in his bicycle just now, he was going like super high speed as if he was driving in India right now. For fuck's sake, not the best start to a new job. I got 2 more days this week, we'll see what those are like. Driving the avenue of trees at night. Before, like an hour before my second real shift, and by God, that was the most torrential rain that I've experienced in a while, I guess. There were puddles just being fully and constantly replenished. Anywhere where there was a dip, it was filling up. I'm surprised my wheels didn't drag very much in it. Felt pretty dodgy trying to overtake trucks and stuff. Spray everywhere, deep water, deep spray. Somehow at 60 miles an hour my wheels were skimming over the water. Like, I don't know if they're gripping the road. They weren't like aquaplaning. I wasn't losing any steering or traction in the puddles that I encountered, but it was weird because there was tons of puddles, and it's just like on the national 60 countryside roads, puddles like that would drag my wheels to the sides. I wonder if there's a difference in going 40 to going 60 through shit like that, whether it drags your wheels less if you go faster, which is weird. Not that I want to go faster on the National 60s to get through the puddles. Or maybe the puddles are just way deeper on the National 60s than they are on the dual carriageway, but they must still be, the way it's been raining, they must still be getting deep in places. The journey there could be 1 hour or 1 hour 20 or something, or 45 minutes depending on how you do it, but in these bad conditions I'd say longer. Break it into bite-sized pieces, so I leave home earlier, go halfway, seagull flock, then have a little sit down for like an hour. So I've done half my journey there, and then I do the other half nearer when I need to get here by like an hour. I've misjudged it here, now I'm early by like 50 minutes I think at the moment. Yep, I'll wait 50 minutes and then drop in. But the journey back I was doing one piece. I don't tend to wait because it's like 11:30 at night or something. So, and it could be even later on. So I just do it in one piece, and that feels long doing it in one piece. You got that long dual carriageway ride back in the pitch black dark to the halfway point, and then you got the semi-long kind of okay countryside roads drive, not on the dual carriageway, back home. Doing both those together in one go after a shift when you're a bit tired from doing the shift and your kind of back's aching on the seat and stuff, feels bad, man. Feels long. Not super long, but just on the edge of what I can take before calling it super long. It is dim. Don't know what this shift's gonna be like. I don't know if they're giving me any variety or tilt training me yet. They might just have me doing the same thing, which is stocking shelves from cages. I've noticed that every retail shop has a different name for what I call outbacks, which is the stock that you brought in on the delivery can't go out on the shelf because the shelf out front is full, so it's outbacks. You put it on outback. And then I moved to one of the corner shops and they called it back stock, and then I moved to this place and they call it overs. That's overs. I'm like, what the fuck's overs? They're like, oh, stuff that can't go on the shelf. Oh, right, outbacks, back stock. They're like, what? Because every shop calls it a different name. It's really bizarre. I don't know why. I'll probably tell you about how that went. Hi guys. Second shift went better than first shift, although it seems everyone has every fucking male staff member has a theme tune in here. They're all playing fucking all sorts of music. This time it was metal music.
Vietnam.
Had like weird rap stuff. The guys I was working with today are
Vietnam.
it was alright, and
Vietnam.
but it was like this dark-skinned, long-haired, black hair, curly guy who was also alright. And yeah, they didn't talk to me that much. They tried to talk a little. They asked me what my favourite style of music was because they wanted to play it on the speakers, and I was just like apprehensively like, I wish we didn't have to play any music in the shop. They said the main music in the shop that you hear can't be turned off. Even when the shop is like closed at night, the music is still on, and they hate it, and that's why they try and blast their music to drown it out. But I think it's quite mellow, to be honest, in here. It's better choices of music than Cost Cutter, and they have the volume quite low, whereas when the male staff members play their music, it's really obnoxious. But they played some, I mentioned a few bands that I liked, and they played some of those bands for a bit. Mostly it was like poppy rock. It's hard to talk to them when there was music because the music's louder than the voice, and I'm quite quiet, not good at projecting. But I got more out of them. I learned how to use a ticket gun, which is used for facing off, and you have a little belt thing tied to a wireless phone thing, and you use the phone thing as a barcode scanner, and it sends a ticket to the belt to put on a bit of shelf that doesn't have a ticket. So I did that. There was also a girl there called
Vietnam,
who was nice, but I didn't get to talk to her much. And then there was a blonde skinny girl at the desk called
Vietnam.
I briefly saw.
Vietnam.
He's like a blonde-haired teenager surfer kid. And yeah, I don't know who else I saw. I think that was it, basically. There was 3 of us by the end of the night. There's some homeless guys here living, poor guys. And at night, this car park becomes like a stunt zone for like teen joyriders. Anyway, yeah, that's all to report. Day 3 will be on Saturday. Today was a slightly... oh, we got a street lamp. Today was a slightly better shift. I met one new staff member called
Vietnam,
who seemed to work in the warehouse and was pretty chill, and another new staff member, young guy called
Vietnam,
who I think worked in the health and beauty aisles and on tills. The guys I work with today, which is a Saturday, were...
Vietnam.
Is that right? Yes. Who seems like the most chill team member, to be honest.
Vietnam.
Was back, and
Vietnam.
guy with the weird face tattoos who you can't really talk to properly. It was a much better shift. It's all the same thing, stocking. Apparently I don't get to do any till training until I have a clock-in card and number, so I gotta wait for them to print that. I didn't opt to do the super late night shift. I think
Vietnam.
was there and the
Vietnam.
guy and someone else staying behind to do the late night shift. Apparently if you do that you can take your break whenever you want. If you work over 8 hours, which it will be, it's like a 12-hour shift, you can get a 30-minute break and place it where you want. That could be happening tonight, but I didn't choose for it to happening tonight because I just still need to be eased into the whole thing, figure out what's what. We did a stock up session, pretty basic. I helped a couple customers, so it was quite nice. I helped one old guy in particular, old fuddy-duddy guy with his wife, pick carpet cleaner and work out what the products were somehow. It's nice to engage with the customer for once. We did stocking up and they put the music on quieter this shift, which was nicer, and they played a lot more tracks that I was familiar with. Played some Metallica, Smoke on the Water, something else. Yeah, there's definitely a disconnect, a bit of frostiness, a bit of untalkative, uncommunicativeness between the staff members. But you know, today was a nicer shift that we actually had a conversation a bit about like films. Like the Indian guide was like, what English films should I watch? I should watch some very British, very English films, and we were all like naming like English films to watch, like Monty Python and Lock, Stock and stuff like this. Anyway, that shift was the one that's gone the best so far. There was a lot of awkward moments of me standing around not really sure what everyone was doing or what they wanted me to do a couple of times. I hate moments like that. It's like you're not really sure what you're doing and what things you're supposed to be doing or allowed to do, and people are having a conversation about I don't know what, and you're trying to ask what you're meant to be doing, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just awkward. Don't like those moments with people. It's always been a pain in the ass. Anyway, time to have my massive drive back home.
Thank you for watching.